fact that the first chairman of the Niagara Parks Commission, 1885 to 1893, Chisauska was born in Russia of Polish parents, forced to immigrate following participation in the Polish Rising of 1830. He came to Canada in 1841, an exceptionally able engineer. He first served as a government construction superintendent. He later organized a company which built the Grand Trunk Railway from Toronto to Sarnia, 1853 to 1857, and the international bridge across the Niagara River to Fort Erie in 1875. He was a founder of the Canadian Society of Civil Engineers in 1887. A colonel in the Canadian militia, he was appointed honorary aide-de-camp to the Queen in 1879 and knighted in 1890. Chisauska served as administrator to Ontario in 1896 and 1897. He finally opened a series of restaurants that sold glumkis and pierogis. and soon he threw in krishtukis, which is a delicious coffee snapping cake. This is the famous Niagara Falls and the Canadian side. There's tons and tons of water and a bus kind of blocks it. This is the waterfalls of the Great Niagara River. This is the Canadian side, I believe. Canadian side? No, I think the American side is over down the other end. Notice the walls are coming down because of gravitational pull. They don't seem to go up. But it's a beautiful sight. It's around 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, or daylight saving. Daylight saving. I'm kind of confused getting up so early in the morning. But it's gorgeous. And I just hope we're recording it because I just turned it on and I don't know whether it's running or not running, but anyway, here we go. Hon, do you have something to add to this? You can actually feel the mist coming over the falls. And like the old poet said, it took us 400 miles to get up here, and all I have to do to see water cascading is just to flush the toilet. So we came up 400 miles to do the same thing at home, to see water come down a cascading trail. All you have to do is get the same results by flushing your toilet. Ha ha ha. And here we go. This is one phase of the Niagara Falls. We got a larger phase down the other end. It's about, I would say about 1,000 feet. There we go. This is the larger phase of the Niagara Falls. We'll get a closer up shot. But notice it's a horseshoe effect. I believe that might be the American, no, the Canadian. Yeah, that's the Canadian Falls. Beautiful. Take a shot of some people in the background. And about the size of it. Notice the water is clear, sort of bluish color, And you notice the mist, some of that mist is coming over by us, which is about, I'd say about 300-400 yards. It reminds me of the mist that comes in from the Pacific under the Golden Gate Bridge in California. But sooner or later that mist is disintegrated by the sun, whereas here it's constant. As that water overflows the Niagara River, the mist is steady all day, all night. Let's try the other side. Now this is a very close-up angle of the same falls. I'm standing practically in the direct view of the falls coming in from, I believe, this is the Canadian side of the falls. And like I said, a few hundred yards down the way is the American side, which is more beautiful, or it's the other way around. I didn't bother to ask anybody, but this is a horseshoe effect, and it's quite gorgeous, as you can see. This is gorgeous. We came a little closer to the Canadian side of the falls, and this is what you're getting. A roar, the water cascading down into the Niagara River, and well, I don't have to tell you, you're seeing it in pictures. You see that mist? Beautiful bluish color. Let's panorama a little bit down here and see the rays of the sun bouncing off the waterway. And that's my wife talking in the background. She's speaking with a tourist, and I just hope that you can hear her in the background, because I can. And I don't know what they're talking about, but really, who cares? Because tourists usually talk about their private lives, such as homes and raising a family and you know, local stuff. But coming back to this, I wonder where Clark Kent tried to save Lois. Down at the rocks, perhaps? Up on the other side? Oh God, we got a couple of bread makers. That's panorama directly below us. There it is. What you see is water coming down. That's all it is. There's no butterflies. There's no birds that come down with the wave. It's just plain old H2O. And I believe it's pure, it's not salted water. It's pure, I guess you would call it river or lake water. But there we go. This is gorgeous. feel like water coming down. Let's panorama over here and see what's what. There's a couple of high, I would guess you would call them high towers that people usually go up there to take pictures or view the falls at a closer range or a closer angle. Let's listen to the roar of the falls coming down. As a matter of fact, in a few minutes we're going to show the closer area where our hotel is, which is a matter of 2-3 minutes. We actually walked down from the hotel, which is a good close-up of the fall, although we can't see it from the hotel. They even have an excursion, a boat excursion that goes down on the water. I think this might be the boat down here. Excuse me. In fact, I think there's people waiting to get on board, or it must be the employees or something. But oh no, they wear a special raincoat. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, there's people going in, getting on board. You can see quite a distance down. We're pretty high up. We're a couple of 100 feet up. And we thought just by going down into Patterson we could see the great falls, the Great Passaic Falls. Well, I don't think that Great Passaic Falls, if you fit it in, it disappeared. I'll panorama now over on this side, the Canadian side. By the way, I think we're panoraming, we're showing the Niagara Falls, New York side, in which we're on the Canadian side, if that makes any sense. Now I'll show you some of the tourists. These nice people spending their hard-earned money coming here to see a bunch of falls come down a ravine. Last night we came over here and we watched for a few minutes, but you know, we were traveling 400 miles, and we got here, we were so tired that we walked around a little bit. We had a little ice cream, and then we decided to get home around 5:30, 5:45. Watched a little television, and then we were off to bed. I was out like a light until about 7:15 this morning. I went to sleep around 7 o'clock last night, so I guess you realize where I'm coming from. Look at these people that get on the boat. They wear these blue raincoats so they don't get wet. They go perhaps near the falls, and it's so misty down there that as you're passing by, so rather than to get all wet, they wear these protective raincoats to avoid getting soaked. So they all look like blue bodies from here. Good idea. Okay, we panorama over to the falls. We'll panorama over to this side and here. I want to see there's a big crowd. Smile, lady, you're on television. Smile, lady, you're on television. I sound like I'm talking to myself, but I have to get some voice in. Thank you. This reminds me of either Niagara Falls spray starch or Niagara Falls shredded wheat. Take your pick. This is where the famous commercials come from. Let's get a little of the background scenery over here. These are a few towers where I guess you can go up there and take pictures, which isn't too far away. But I think we got better pictures here than if we would have gone. These couple of hotels. This is the Skyline Brock Hotel, and here's these are a few of the tourists like me, like us, and smile, say you're on television. Hey, here she is, Miss America, number 3. How you doing? Hey, I gotta go and say something, hon.
All the stores are closed.
They're closed? Was it Jewish holiday, I guess? Huh? Oh yeah? 9:30, 9:21. Wow. You know, there's the people with the raincoats, honey. You know? They look like Navy personnel, don't they? From a distance. There we go. They're ready to get either, well, they can't get soaked because they're wearing those silly old uniforms. But we'll take a picture of them anyway. Ah, this is impressive. Oh, this is beautiful. Believe it or not, this is the Canadian Niagara Falls, or the Canadian Falls. The other one is the American Falls. I can't understand why Canada had the better of the two. Because this is a horseshoe effect. And notice the size of it. Unbelievable. And it's a wonder with all the money that the Americans have, they didn't buy the Niagara from Canada or swap it. And what's the difference now? Here's the Canadian. Now here's the American. Now I'm panoraming over, and this is the American Falls, which is not as impressive, I don't think. It's nice, but not nicer. I don't know if I'm getting it into focus, but that's the New York State or American National Niagara Falls. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We gave the better of the two. Look at that. It's a horseshoe effect, It goes, I'd say about I would assume about a half a mile, and I'm not a surveyor by no means. It goes around a half a mile across, and it's a horseshoe effect. In fact, when the boat comes down, that brings in the tourists that are dressed in that blue raincoat, they go right into that mist. So, you know, people with cameras and whatnot got to be careful because they get all soaking wet. That's the reason why they wear the raincoat, because that boat comes down into that mist, and people naturally are going to get wet. So they have to wear that blue raincoat. That is gorgeous. There's one thing that the Canadians got better than the United States, is their falls. It's a beautiful building, and I would assume that it contains an information booth, perhaps restaurants. I haven't been in here, but we just came to this area, so I figure I'd take this picture here showing the Canadian, English, and American flags, and then taking a picture of the building as a whole. I notice there are a few people going in there, but like I said, this is a first time for me. And there's the flags.
The boats down there, they look like a bunch of blueberries.
They look like a bunch of blueberries, honey. Huh? They look like blueberries in a bowl. Don't they? This is impressive. Wow. I just hope we got this into focus, because we got the sunlight directly ahead or above, and we're going through the mist of the falls itself. This is the Canadian Falls, as I suggested before. Not suggested, but it's a matter of fact. But you can't appreciate it until you see it directly and hear the sound of the roar of the water cascading down the falls. And here's that boat again. They look like a bunch of blueberries in a bowl. How to say something? That's your idea. Okay. You're the boss. Now let's look at the little puny American. That's the American falls. And it's puny, all right, from this distance. Now we'll panorama over here into the, I think it's about 3 times the size of the other falls. I just hope this comes out, because this is gorgeous. I'm directly in the midst of a mist, if you know what I'm driving at. This is impressive. I have never seen falls. Talk about the Passaic Falls. That's a little trickle compared to this. Look at this. Oh, I'm feeling the mist right here. We're actually getting water on the lens. Impressive. Oh God, look at that. Fantastic. What a view. What a view. And you can hear the falls in the background.
Get the mist there from the falls.
Yeah.